Hello, everybody. I'm Josh Oakes, and I'm so excited to have some really fun experts here today talking about college admissions and really summer stuff that you can do with your kids to make sure that they're planning for success downstream. I've got a bunch of awesome people here today, and my goal is that even if you have middle school students, that you're talking with your kids about their future. Talking with them about what college you want to go, what career. And even if you think it's really early in elementary school, it's not, because it's going to help them use these devices that you're giving them in a wise way. So secretly, we have a master plan for your children that they're shining online in a good way. And this video is brought to you by Parent University, which teaches you how to use the apps that your kids are on, right? We teach Snapchat each week and all kinds of other things. You can learn more in the links above and below. Our first guest we have with us today is Amber Chitty. Amber is faculty internship coordinator at Fullerton. Amber, talk to us a little bit about what we can start doing really early on to make sure that we put our best foot forward with our kids.
Well, in terms of building a resume, I think the most important thing to remember is to just get started. Think about the things that they have achieved up to this point, what they want to get involved with, and just jot down everything that might be relevant. So up until you've graduated from college and have a few years of experience in the industry, it's really important to keep a resume to one page. So I say get all the experience out there and then start cutting it back to just the most relevant things.
Yeah, that's really wise. Lots of stuff on it and clean it up. We're going to hear that from some other people as well. And next, we have Dr. Legatt. I hope I'm pronouncing that correctly. You talk a little bit about putting stuff into a Google spreadsheet and how we can prepare that. Can you speak to us a little bit more about that and how students can really put it all down, kind of just what Amber just said, put it all down and start putting it into a digital format?
Sure, absolutely. Well, hi, everyone. It's great to be here. As Josh said, I'm Dr. Aviva Legatt. I'm a college application coach, and I used to serve on an admissions committee actually at the Wharton School of University of Pennsylvania. So I have experience on both sides, helping students and also reviewing students. So in terms of tracking, I would say students these days are so busy and they have so many activities going on, and it can be hard to remember what someone does, a couple days later, let alone, 6 months later. Yeah. So my recommendation is that students, with the encouragement of parents, track their activities and events on a Google spreadsheet or a Google Doc, a Word file, whatever kind of documentation makes sense to you. And this way, when you go to create that resume for college, you have all the information you need. And the formatting is really just a secondary detail. The gathering the information is really a lot more difficult. And when you go to a program, like let's say you go to a pre-college program for the summer, you want to find out details like about the selectivity. The program I used to oversee called Leadership in the Business World had 900 applications this year for 140 spots. So that's a 15% acceptance rate. So that's super impressive if you can get that information on the spot and record it down. So it all becomes part of your file and the context within which you are making an impression.
Yeah, that's very, very wise. And I think you bring up a good point. It's a lot of work over several years. Now, I want to move over to somebody else called Rafe, Rafe is on this video chat. Rafe, you talk a little bit about a 5-letter acronym, and you're coming to us from New Jersey right now. 5-letter acronym on how to talk in a way that a college wants to hear. Talk to us about that. What is that?
Yes, I am in sales support. I am in the business of sales support content creation. There is an immutable law of sales called WIFM. WIFM stands for what's in it for me.
Yeah.
So when you are presenting your product or service to any prospective buyer, you can't be presenting information that is about the features, which is about the stuff that the size of it and how nice it is and what it smells like. The only thing that a prospect cares about is the benefit that they will get. What's in it for me, being the prospect. So when you're applying to colleges, you are selling. You are selling your ability to present yourself as a solution or a perfect fit for that college. So when you're creating your resume or you're having interviews, it's all about not why you are so awesome. It's why you are awesome for that college. So you need to focus on the benefits that you can deliver rather than the awesomeness of yourself. And if you can turn that around, so that you are introducing yourself as someone who is going to enhance that university's needs, goals, and challenges. You are separating yourself from everyone, even those who are more accomplished or have more impressive resumes, because you understand what they want.
That's very wise. What's in it for me? WIIFM, and really, and it's also what's in it for them as well.
Yes.
If you're a student or a parent, you're like, well, wait, my kid knows what's in it for me, but really think about that other person. Good old sales 101. What's in it for them? Put yourself in their shoes and say, what would I want? I love that. That's really great, Rafe. Thank you so much.
Josh, I'll be able to share a tip where you can learn exactly what they want, and you can gear your entire presentation, your resume, your interview to that place where you're almost walking them to the cash register. So I can say that.
I love that. That's great. All right, next we're over to Neha Gupta. Neha, you talk a little bit about making sure that you're researching local events and internship opportunities, and my favorite, shadowing opportunities. Can you speak to us a little bit about that and how that might be beneficial?
Absolutely. Thank you, Josh. My name is Neha Gupta. I'm the founder of collegeshortcuts.com. And one of the biggest things that we see over and over when we're looking at resumes, we read over 1,000 resumes almost every year, is that students are looking at, working at a retail shop or taking a swimming, lifeguarding position for $8 or $9 an hour, instead of looking for opportunities that are closer to what their dreams are. And since we love to help students get into the college of their dreams, we need to make sure that when they're looking at their resume, that they're seeing opportunities in their local area or even possibly nationally that relate to what they want to study. And one of the biggest things we see is that students will say often, I just don't know what I want to do. Well, if that's the case, pick something and go try it out, because that is much more effective in the application process than saying, well, I just stayed at home and I worked at my local ice cream shop. So those would be my tips around the resume process of making sure that it's quality, not just quantity.
I love that. And I think also on the same note, we've all been young there and thought, how can I make a little bit more money per hour? And that might hurt you in the long run. So those of you that have kids that are thinking, well, they could make $0 this summer and be super poor, which we've all been, or they can make $9 or $10 an hour at a job that does not help them on that college admissions. Consider taking the poor option. It will be priceless in the long run. Just always consider that. Neha, I love what you said there. So now let's go over into the round robin area. Let's talk about the things that students should not do. I want to hear from all of you. What are some tips that are some blunders? What are some tips you would tell parents that would be a really bad choice that you see a lot? They're always telling people that are frequent blunders. I'll let Doctor, why don't you go first?
Sure. So what I noticed many times on the admissions committee that was a really big challenge for us to evaluate students was the context of a lot of the students' activities and experiences was missing. So if someone says that they're on the debate team and they went to 5 tournaments, we don't know what the level of these tournaments are. We don't understand, perhaps what role the student had on the debate team. So it's really important to dig in deeply into these experiences and go through and reflect on the day-to-day of what you're actually doing and who might have been impacted in a positive way by what you've done. And you can do this in collaboration with your peers, with teachers. I would definitely say it's not easy to do alone because your experiences are yours. So all of it is in your head, but someone who's reading your file doesn't know you, can't ask you a follow-up question. And so how do you write down your experiences in a way that doesn't require you to have any follow-up questions, that it's all self-evident and self-sufficient based on what you've written? That's the biggest blunder and a very frequent one.
That's a really good one. Not a bad tip there. Okay, let's jump over. Amber, can you walk us through a blunder a lot of people have?
So one of the things that I notice on resumes of students who haven't gotten to the level of being savvy is using too much of a passive voice. So no matter what your experience is, you should always be able to find transferable skills that will apply to whatever area you're hoping to go into. So for example, high school students might have a job in food service. That's pretty common. So instead of listing your bullet points as just the basic job description, cashier, food service, maintenance, inventory. That's something that anybody who went into the job would carry out those duties.
Yeah.
What you want to do is personalize it and say exactly what you did that went above and beyond to make an impact on the organization. So instead of greeting customers, you could say, welcomed customers with a friendly attitude to ensure an outstanding guest experience, something like that. So take not only the duty, that's a great starting point, but then you want to look and say what you did specifically, kind of the why behind it, and then also the result. Anytime you can quantify, it'll make you stand out that much more. So if you had 100% on time record, or if you have upsold 50% of the dishes at the restaurant for specials, things like that are really great. And whatever you can quantify, you're going to be looking really good in the eyes of employers and colleges.
Not a bad tip. I like that. What do you bring to the table for them? That's really good. All right, Rafe, we're over to you. We're talking about a big blunder that people make that you're really talking to them about. What's one of the blunders that parents need to know about when their kids are in middle school or entering high school as they develop this resume?
Most definitely overload, thinking that the more that you throw at the prospective college, either admissions officer or the person who's doing the interview, the better you will be coming off. I like to, when I'm working with sales opportunities, is explain that everything needs to be united by a value proposition. You need to be able to sum up in one sentence the exact WIFM benefit that you can deliver. So if you are a college student or a high school student rather, or even middle school student, you need to think about what is that thing that sums you up, that positions you as having an advantage over everyone else. And rather than filling your resume with achievement after task after thing that you did, choose the ones that most speak to the truth and validation that you are in fact that person who can make this happen. So it really is trying to find that commonality rather than a volume of stuff to just shove in there.
Yeah, I like on this video call how we have people that are proven in the industry as consultants, people that are former admissions at major awesome schools, and then also a business person, which I love it from a marketing perspective. I think those of you that are parents, when you're watching this right now, it's not just how do I get into my dream school? You know, the end goal isn't just the day of the wedding, right? You actually have to live with that person for the rest of your life, and you need to be the same person offline as you are online, so that when you pick the right school for you, the right opportunity, the right career, that you actually want to do that. It doesn't have to be the top 5 schools in the country. It needs to be the right school for your kid. And that's why this whole student thing that we all talk about, making sure it's the right fit and that your student is well-rounded. It's not just about GPA. It's not just about these test scores. It's really, you are so much more than that. And I like that we're looking at that from a whole perspective. Okay, we're on to Neha. I think we have one more from you. Is that correct? We haven't really talked to you yet about a blunder. What's one of the bigger blunders that you're seeing?
Absolutely. So one of the things that I did when I created Resume Shortcuts was we made sure they had an incredible template. And this is a big deal because we've seen over and over students are writing 4 or 5 page resumes. They're not using the right margins. They're doing double columns. There's so many mistakes being done. And even if a student has, let's say, a 35 on the ACT and a 4.0, and they've done all these activities, while everyone else has talked about content and how to really make sure they're the right fit, the next thing to look at is format. Because the average admissions director is not spending 30 minutes to review a resume. And not only is this helpful for getting into college, when you look at jobs, I get probably a resume every 2 minutes when we are hiring for a position because so many people want to join our team at College Shortcuts. We literally will look, and format is the first thing you notice. It's visual. So that's why I was so big on creating a resume template. And although many high schools have their own templates, we have found that our template has really been able to get students into the colleges they're wanting to go to.
That's great. What a great tip. So format first. That goes back to what Rafe said. What's in it for them? How do they perceive it? Not enough people know this too. Parents, if you ever hear at a cocktail party, a barbecue event or something, I heard that this is the way it works, please go spend time researching it, talking to one of these awesome experts that you can see below, whether it's in this blog post or live on Facebook. If you ever hear the I heard, make sure you're thinking like them, go straight to the source. One other tip that somebody had the other day was go straight to have your kid at a very young age pick their 5 top favorite colleges, even if they're not ones you think they'll ever go to, and see what does their application process look like? What does the full ride scholarship look like? And start planning really early on, what does success look like downstream? Okay, so I want to thank all the awesome people that have been on this video here today. It's brought to you by Parent University, where we teach parents at a young, early age how Snapchat works so that you're not wondering, is my kid getting in trouble? Are their friends screenshotting stuff that's changing their Google results? We teach you how to audit your kids online first, and then how to go in and dialogue with your kids about their future, which is really creating this resume these awesome people are doing. And then last, creating positive content that puts their best foot forward. We show you how to use this tool with a purpose instead of just a pastime. And that really changes kids' behaviors online. Lets them be fun and silly. You should be self-deprecating and have a great time. Colleges don't want a robot on their, on their campus. They want a fun person that has a good sense of humor. But we teach you how to do that in Parent University. You can click the links around this video to learn more. I want a special thank you to all the awesome people that are on this video today. Thank you to you guys for all over the country for joining us here today. We'll talk to you guys soon. You can click the links below or visit safesmartsocial.com to learn more. See you guys soon. Take care.
Thank you.